Okay guys, so basically what I've done here is already thrown in the stems that DISKORD gave me from the original track, anything you want. And I already set the tempo to 172 beats per minute. And here's everything so you can hear that. I have every individual sound, the 808 coming through, all the basses. Got the vocal here too. Kick, snare, everything that you need, and basically when you play them all together, you get the whole track, obviously. So yeah, I guess I'll just get right to it, and basically how I like to start out a track is kind of, well, a remix in this case, is now that I have all the little pieces here of what I can work with, I already know what I can work with and what I want to work with. I'm just going to group all of these here, and I'll just turn them off. I like to start out kind of with a simple arrangement. I mean, this will always change, or can always change as we go, but I like to start out with, like, here's 16 bars of an intro, 16 bars of a break. And I think that's kind of what I want to do. So 16 bars, I set these little markers here by right-clicking, press, and yeah, adding marker. So 16 bars intro, 16 bars break, and then probably build for 8 bars maybe. And then we'll say drop. We want the drop to be right here. So now knowing that, I kind of, it helps me, I mean, this isn't for everybody, but I kind of guide myself this way. So what I like to start out first when I'm remixing, getting this arrangement going, is kind of the vocals. So I'm going to take the vocal out of that group, and I'm going to try and fit them in. Alright, so that's beat 1 right there, so I'm just gonna make sure all the stems are cut off here and all starting, so everything lines up on grid every 8 bars. So now that's on my marker. Okay, now that I have the vocal there, and this is kind of how I want it, because I want it to be in this arrangement, we'll probably switch a lot of this. I like to pull out the piano. So Ableton stock piano, super simple. As soon as I can find it here. Grand piano. And this is where I like to kind of start playing with bass notes to play against the vocal. So I'll just start playing, and I have a background in music theory, but I kind of like to not use that. I kind of like to hear by ear, just where to go with it. What sounds good is always best. Don't always have to follow the rules, but anyways, this is what we got here. So I believe I went C sharp, maybe. Yeah, so C sharp, A, and then F sharp, and then I held this out. I'm just gonna duplicate this, copy it over, and I think I switched it right here. Yeah, so I think and then I believe I put a B right here. Cool, so that's basically the bass riff I want to use for this, and from there I start adding the color, so the creating, I don't know, basically creating the chords at this point. So what I did here and usually do, I start by doubling. So I'm just going to build this chord, and I like to stack chords pretty big and spread out. So there, we add in the 5th, and then I'll add in the E, and just another 5th right on top. So that chord sounds really full to me already. Now for the second chord, I think I'm gonna do something. So what I try not to do is have sort of parallel motions going with either octaves or fifths. It's kind of something I've always been told to follow from teachers, theory teachers, and I've always done, because sometimes it can make a chord progression sound weak, but in this case I'm still doing it by ear. And when I see that I'm about to do parallel fifths or parallel octaves, then I kind of stray away from that. So instead of putting this down to the A so it's following that, I mean that can work fine in this case, but if they're upper voices it might not work as well. So I put this up instead to have the contrary motion, which means two voices in opposite directions. So from here, add A. I'll add in the third here, and then right on top will be the A. Great. So now I'm on to the F sharp minor. So now that this voice went to an E, I'm going to step it down and bring it back down to, I believe, F sharp. Yeah. Now the good thing about this A major chord here and F sharp is basically it's the same chord except with an F sharp in the bass. So I can pretty much copy over these two voices here, the A and the C sharp. And what I did actually on this chord, so it's F sharp minor, I added the add 9, which is the G sharp, and it kind of gives it more color. And I'm just going to throw the 5th on top as well. So those sound great, and I'm going to copy them over here because they're the exact same chord, and I'm going to go finish up those last two chords. So again, what I did here was went down and doubled the bass note here. Just going to move forward here. G sharp minor, we're going to add in the 3rd here, 5th, and I'm going to double the 3rd. Oops, put this down here. And now for that last chord, which is a B, or actually no, it's the exact same chord. It's just a G sharp minor, but with the with B in the root, so it's just an inverted chord, but it kind of just makes it sound different. So what did I do here? Put the G sharp here instead, and then these two voices stayed exactly the same. So now when we hear this all together, awesome. So I want this to go for 16 bars, so I duplicate that, and I'm gonna make this vocal repeat here. So now Awesome, so that's kind of the arrangement I want to go with, and then right from there we'll go right into a build. But before we do any of that, I kind of want to start working on elements of the break, so kind of bringing in some synths here. So what I actually did, I opened a MIDI track, and I use Serum for pretty much all my leads in here, which I have to find. There it is. So I'm just gonna load the preset that I have made for this, which I believe is pad 1. So when I throw these MIDI down into here, I'm gonna get rid of the piano, or not get rid of it, but mute it. I have this synth. So just make sure I have that in the right octave. Yeah. So I actually added EQ on here, and I took this macro 2, the cutoff, and I actually automated it through here. Well, didn't automate, but had it down to certain number here, so let's get it to where it's at. Yeah, it's already there, so this works perfect. So I added this EQ just because I didn't want the top end on there, so you hear the difference. It's very airy, a lot of extra noise, so I just took that out, so now the vocal can kind of fit over it a little bit better. Awesome, now I'm going to bring in the second layer, which is just load another Serum preset here. I'm going to throw this up the octave. And awesome, it's like pulsing. I kind of like that pulse in it, so now sounding together. And again, I'm just going to change this EQ a bit here, so I'm going to take that off. Keep one where it's at and bring this up around 10K-ish. Cool. And gonna duplicate those. So now we have two pad layers that kind of sound really nice together, and this little piano. Awesome, now I'm just gonna start grouping these together here. Gonna name this pad 1, pad 2, and this is gonna be break synths. Cool, okay, so that's what we got for this video. In the next video, we're going to be adding in more synths to the break and kind of getting everything more solidified through this arrangement that we have. So I'm going to be bringing in more plucks and more sounds to basically fill it up and see how far we can go with that. See you in the next video.
Thanks everybody for watching, commenting and indeed liking. We really do appreciate all the support we get here on our Sonic Academy YouTube channel. So if you found this video super useful, please, we'd love you to hit the subscribe button. We update the YouTube channel every week with new content. And if you want to watch some more relevant content, just click on the videos beside me.